will separate you from the rest. When it comes to innovation, intelligence and future technology, this man has become the household name nowadays in the recent years. The 47 years old science fiction visionary who has made SpaceX, Tesla Incorporation, Neuralink, OpenAI, PayPal and the Boring Company. He never stops to dream out of the box and makes them real. This daring person is known by the name of Elon Musk. He is the 21st most powerful person in this world, which is listed by Forbes. He was ranked first on the Forbes list of the most innovative leaders of 2019. He has a net worth of $22.8 billion and is listed by Forbes as the 40th richest person in this world. Now you have recognized who is Mr. Elon Musk. Friends, let me welcome you with this video to uncover the life story of the most innovative person on this planet. Musk was born on June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His mother is Mae Musk, a model and dietitian from Regina, Canada, and his father is Errol Musk, a South African electromechanical engineer, pilot and sailor. He has a younger brother Kimball and younger sister Tosca. His maternal grandfather, Dr. Joshua Helderman, was an American-born Canadian. His parental grandmother was British. At the age of 17, in 1989, Musk moved to Canada to attend Queen's University, avoiding mandatory service in South African military. He left in 1992 to study business and physics at the University of Pennsylvania. He graduated with an undergraduate degree in economics and stayed for a second bachelor's degree in physics. After leaving Penn, Musk headed to Stanford University in California to pursue a PhD degree in energy physics. However, his move coincided with the internet boom, and he dropped out of Stanford after just 2 days to become a part of it, launching his first company, Zip2 Corporation. In 1995, Musk and his brother Kimball started Zip2, a web software company with money raised from a small group of angel investors. The company developed and marketed an internet city guide for the newspaper publishing industry. Musk obtained contracts with the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune. In March 1999, Musk co-founded X.com, online financial services and email payment company, with $10 million from the sale of Zip2. 1 year later, the company merged with Confinity, which had a money transfer service called PayPal. The merged company focused on the PayPal service and was renamed PayPal in 2001. In 2001, Musk conceived Mars Oasis, a project to land a miniature experimental greenhouse on Mars. In October 2001, Musk traveled to Moscow with Jim Cantrell and Adio Rezi, who was his best friend from college, to buy refurbished ballistic missiles. However, according to Cantrell, Musk was seen as a novice and was consequently spat on by one of the Russian chip designers. With $100 million, Musk founded SpaceX in May 2002. SpaceX develops and manufactures space launch vehicles with a focus on advancing the state of rocket technology. The company's first two launch vehicles are Falcon 1 and Falcon 9. After so many attempts, the launching was not successful, but he didn't give up. Finally, he was able to launch the rocket successfully. And in 2006, SpaceX was awarded a contract from NASA for astronaut transport to the International Space Station. In 7 years, SpaceX designed the family of Falcon and the Dragon multipurpose spacecraft. In September 2008, Falcon 1 became the first privately funded liquid-fueled vehicle to put a satellite successfully into Earth's orbit, despite of several failures in the past. On May 25, 2012, the Dragon berthed with the International Space Station, making history as the first commercial company to launch and berth a vehicle to the International Space Station. Musk believed that the key to making space travel affordable is to make rockets reusable. On December 22, 2015, SpaceX successfully landed the first stage of its Falcon rocket back at the launch pad. This was the first time in history such a feat had been achieved by an orbital rocket and was a significant step toward lowering the cost of access to space. The first stage recovery was replicated several times in 2016 by landing on an ocean-based recovery platform. By the end of 2017, SpaceX had landed and recovered the first stage on 16 missions in a row, including all 14 attempts in 2017. Tesla Incorporation was incorporated in July 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Both men played active roles in the company's early development prior to Elon Musk's involvement. Musk led the group with a round of investment in February 2004, joining Tesla's board of directors as the chairman. Tesla Motors first built an electric sports car, the Tesla Roadster, in 2008, with a sale of about 2,500 vehicles to 31 countries. In 2014, Musk announced that Tesla would allow its technology patent to be used by anyone in good faith in a bid to entice automobile manufacturers to speed up the development of electric cars. Musk provided the initial concept and financial capital for SolarCity, which was then co-founded in 2006 by his cousin Lyndon and Peter Rive. By 2013, SolarCity was the second largest provider of solar power system in the United States. On August 12, 2013, Musk unveiled a concept for a high-speed transportation system, incorporating reduced pressure tubes in which pressurized capsules ride on an air cushion driven by linear induction motor and air compressors. In December 2015, Musk announced the creation of OpenAI, a non-profit artificial intelligence research company. OpenAI aims to develop artificial intelligence in a way that is safe and beneficial to humanity. In 2016, Musk co-founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology startup company, to integrate the human brain with artificial intelligence. The company is centered on creating devices that can be implemented in the human brain, with the eventual purpose of helping human beings merged with software and keep pace with advancement in artificial intelligence. On December 17, 2016, while stuck in traffic, Musk came up with an idea of digging a tunnel and formed a company. The company was named The Boring Company. On January 21, 2017, the first tunnel was started on the SpaceX campus. Thank you friends for being so curious about this video. If you have liked it, please give a thumb and do share with your friends. If you want to subscribe, hit the bell icon to get all the updates from Bucket List. If you have any suggestions, please do let me know in the comment section. I will catch you with my next video. Till then, goodbye.
Space Exploration Technologies Corporation, also known as SpaceX, is now the center of attraction among rocket enthusiasts. Founded on 2002 by Elon Musk, SpaceX has traveled a long way and achieved many goals in its 18 years of operation. Watch the entire video to explore the complete history of SpaceX. Back in 2001, 1 year before the establishment of SpaceX, the 30-year-old Elon Musk had an idea of revolutionizing the aerospace industry by making affordable spaceflight a reality.
Becoming a multiplanetary species can happen. I think, the point at which it becomes an exothermic reaction is if you can reduce the cost of moving to Mars, which is, I think, the only realistic possibility.
He also had an idea of developing a Mars oasis by sending miniature experimental greenhouse containing seeds with dehydrated gel to the red planet. To make his dream a reality, he needed a rocket, and that too, at an affordable price. In February 2002, Musk traveled to Russia to look for intercontinental ballistic missiles that could send the payloads into space, with minor design changes.
So I ended up going to Russia 3 times to try to buy the biggest ICBM in the Russian nuclear fleet. So I actually did negotiate a deal to buy 2 of the ICBMs minus the nukes.
But the Russians offered one rocket for $8 million, which was too expensive for Musk. While on the return flight from Russia, Musk did the math and realized that he could start a company which could build the rockets with only 3% of the sales price of a rocket at that time. With the plan of building rockets from scratch, Musk now needed experts in rocket science to make his dream a reality. He recruited Tom Mueller, one of the world's leading spacecraft propulsion expert, and Gwynne Shotwell, mechanical engineer and an expert in space research and development. On May 6, 2002, SpaceX was officially launched, with its headquarters in California. Musk invested over $100 million in SpaceX.
How much of your personal fortune have you poured into this?
$100 million.
$100 million into something that you did not believe would work at the beginning.
Yes.
SpaceX began developing its rockets and had the first successful test of its Merlin engine on 2003. Musk decided SpaceX's first rocket would be named Falcon 1. Falcon 1 had one Merlin engine on its first stage and a Kestrel engine on its second stage. Both first and second stage used RP-1 as the fuel and liquid oxygen as the oxidizer. Even though Musk planned for Falcon 1's first launch to occur in November 2003, 15 months after the company started, he couldn't achieve that goal. After 3 years of development, Falcon 1 was finally ready to conduct its first launch on 24 March 2006, carrying Falcon Sat-2 to orbit. Unfortunately, the launch ended in failure less than a minute into the flight. The culprit was a fuel line leak on the first stage. The vehicle had a noticeable rolling motion after liftoff, as shown on the launch video. The vehicle rocked back and forth a bit, and then at T+26 seconds, the vehicle rapidly pitched over. The second launch of Falcon 1, carrying a demo sat instead of a real satellite, occurred on 24 March 2007, 1 year after the failure of first launch attempt. This time, the first stage performed as expected. However, during staging, the interstage fairing located on the top of the first stage bumped on the second stage engine bell. Still, the flight continued. But a premature engine shutdown happened at T+7 minutes and 30 seconds, and the spacecraft failed to reach the intended orbit. SpaceX characterized the test flight as a success, having flight proven over 95% of Falcon 1's systems. SpaceX attempted its third Falcon 1 launch on 3 August 2008, carrying the Trailblazer satellite for the US Air Force, along with 2 other nano satellites. This time, stage separation occurred as planned, but because residual fuel in the new Merlin engine evaporated and provided transient thrust, the first stage recontacted the second stage, preventing successful completion of the mission. The loss of its first 3 rockets pushed SpaceX to the brink of bankruptcy. With all the money they had left in their pocket, SpaceX attempted their 4th launch on 28 September 2008. Falcon 1 lifted off from Marshall Islands with 165 kilograms demosat. The rocket followed the same trajectory as the previous flight and successfully placed the satellite in orbit. On that evening, SpaceX proved to themselves and to the world, failure is the stepping stone to success.
When you had that 3rd failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
But when critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
we've done it.
SpaceX thus became the first company to privately develop a rocket and reach the orbit. With the successful launch of Falcon 1, SpaceX received $1.6 billion contract from NASA to deliver cargo to the International Space Station with a minimum of 12 flights. SpaceX then accelerated the development of its next launch vehicle, Falcon 9. Falcon 9 is a 2-stage rocket with 9 Merlin engines on its first stage and 1 vacuum-optimized Merlin on its second stage. Falcon 9 version 1.0 had a successful test flight on 4 June 2010. SpaceX attempted to recover the first stage by parachuting it into the ocean, but it burned up on re-entry before the parachutes even deployed. In late 2011, SpaceX announced a change in its first stage recovery approach, eliminating the parachutes and going with a propulsively powered descent approach. A reusable first stage was then flight tested by SpaceX with the suborbital Grasshopper rocket. From 2010 to 15, Falcon 9 conducted 19 flights into the orbit, out of which only 1 failed. On 22 December 2015, Falcon 9 successfully launched Orbcomm satellite into orbit and landed its booster stage on ground pad located at California, thus becoming the first vertical landing of an orbital-class rocket. Today, a single Falcon 9 launch would cost $62 million, which is much cheaper compared to other launch vehicles. And if you reuse the Falcon 9 booster flew earlier, the cost of 1 flight would be as low as $30 million. Falcon 9 had a series of design changes from 2010 to 16. Falcon 9 version 1.0 is now upgraded to Falcon 9 Block 5. As of now, the Falcon 9 family have been launched 93 times, with 91 full mission successes, 1 partial failure, and 1 total loss of the spacecraft. What would a rocket company do if they had to launch a heavier satellite into orbit? Build a powerful rocket, right? But SpaceX went 1 step further by strapping 3 Falcon 9 rockets together and introducing its new heavy-lift rocket, Falcon Heavy. SpaceX conducted the Falcon Heavy's maiden flight on February 6, 2018, carrying a Tesla Roadster with a dummy Starman as payload and sending them into a heliocentric orbit around the Sun. The 2 booster stages of Falcon Heavy successfully landed on ground pads, whereas the core stage failed to land on the drone ship. Falcon Heavy has conducted 3 successful launches till now. With its success rate and reliability, SpaceX bought the contract from NASA to launch astronauts to the International Space Station. On 16 September 2014, NASA announced that SpaceX has been selected to provide crew transportation to the space station, and SpaceX will receive $2.6 billion under this contract. Upon receiving the contract, SpaceX developed its Crew Dragon spacecraft to meet the NASA standards required for sending astronauts to the space station. On May 30, 2020, SpaceX successfully launched NASA astronauts Douglas Hurley and Robert Behnken into orbit, making SpaceX the first private company to send astronauts to the International Space Station and marking the first crewed launch from American soil in 9 years. Elon Musk has not forgotten his goal of sending humans to Mars and starting a colony there, while all the low Earth orbit missions are running smoothly. SpaceX began development of its interplanetary spacecraft, Starship, in 2007 and is going through its construction phase right now. The construction site at Texas is growing fast these days, and we can expect an orbital flight of Starship by next year. We have covered the complete evolution of Starship in our previous video, so check out that video to know more. I will provide the link in the description. The journey of SpaceX is still continuing and is growing rapidly. I hope SpaceX can put human on Mars one day and make us an interplanetary species. What do you think about the future of SpaceX? Let us know in the comment section. We will be covering more SpaceX-related videos in the future, so don't forget to subscribe our channel. And as always, thanks for watching. Brainchild of Elon Musk had a pretty long developmental history. This video will address the key developments happened from 2007 to 2020 for this ambitious rocket. So, let's dive into rocket science. Everything started in 2007 when Musk stated a personal goal of enabling human exploration and settlement of Mars. The launch vehicle was initially mentioned in public discussions by the SpaceX CEO, Elon Musk, in 2012, known as Mars Colonial Transporter. Also, SpaceX began development of its Raptor rocket engine in the same year. In February 2014, the principal payload for the Mars Colonial Transporter was announced to be a large interplanetary spacecraft capable of carrying up to 100 tons of passengers and cargo to Mars. In his September 2016 announcement, Musk noted that the name Mars Colonial Transporter would not continue as the system would be able to go well beyond Mars. And a new name, Interplanetary Transport System, was selected. Later in 2017, ITS was renamed into BFR, or Big Falcon rocket. Both were two-stage rockets, with many key design changes. Standing at 122 meters, the ITS was the tallest and most powerful rocket ever produced, while BFR was redesigned to 106 meters. ITS was 12 meters in diameter, which shrinks to 9 meters in BFR. Next, let's talk about the number of engines on the vehicle. The BFR had 31 Raptor engines versus 42 in ITS. The new BFR has an impressive 48 meganewtons of thrust at liftoff, which is way down compared to ITS, which claimed 128 meganewtons of thrust. Lastly, payload capacity to low Earth orbit. The BFR can put 150 tons into orbit compared to the ITS, which could do 300 tons. In engineering, changes brings better technologies. On November 2018, 1 year after the announcement of BFR in 2017, SpaceX came up with a new redesigned concept for the BFR by naming Starship for its upper stage and Super Heavy for its booster stage. Musk pointed out that the booster stage was needed to escape Earth's deep gravity well, but not needed for other planets or moons. The key design features of this design includes increasing the total height from previous 106 meters to 120 meters. Using 31 Raptor engines for Super Heavy and 6 Raptor engines, with 3 optimized for sea level and 3 optimized for vacuum, for Starship. Subcooled methane and oxygen became the fuel and the oxidizer powering the mission. Methane, which can be easily manufactured on Mars by using carbon dioxide from Martian atmosphere, became the right choice for fuel. In January 2019, Musk announced that the Starship would no longer be constructed out of carbon fiber. Instead, SpaceX will use stainless steel to build the Starship. Musk cited several reasons, including cost, strength, and ease of production, to justify making the switch. SpaceX immediately started the construction of prototypes. By late May 2019, the first prototype, Starhopper, was preparing for untethered flight tests in Boca Chica, South Texas. While 2 orbital prototypes were also under construction. The 2 ships were constructed by competing teams that were required to share progress, insights, and build techniques with the other team, but neither team is required to use the other team's techniques. In July 2019, the Starhopper made its initial flight test, a hop of around 20 meters altitude, and a second and final hop in August, reaching an altitude of around 150 meters. The successful test of Starhopper accelerated the production of Starship orbital prototypes. SpaceX completed the external structure of the Starship Mark I in time for Musk's public update on September 2019. But on 20th November 2019, the Mark I test article came apart in a tank pressure test in Texas. The same day, SpaceX stated that they would stop developing Mark 1 and Mark 2 and move on to work on the Mark 3 and Mark 4 articles. A few weeks later, the work on the vehicles in Florida paused, and Starship development work started focusing on the Texas site. In December 2019, Musk announced that the Starship Mark III versions would be redesignated into Starship Serial Number 1, and there would be minor design improvements from Starship Serial Number 1 to 20. SpaceX began construction of the internal components for the vehicle in December 2019 and started stacking Serial Number 1 at Boca Chica 2 months later. Serial Number 1 failed a cryogenic pressurization test on 28 February 2020 due to a design failure in the lower tank thrust structure. After the incident, SpaceX announced that they were focusing their efforts on the next test article, Starship Serial Number 2, and conducted a successful test of Serial Number 2 tank structure on 8 March 2020. Later, Starship Serial Number 3 was planned to be used for static fire tests and short hops, while Serial Number 4 for longer flights. Starship Serial Number 3 was destroyed during testing on 3 April 2020. The cause of the failure was a testing configuration error. A valve was inadvertently commanded to open, resulting in pressure loss and structural failure of the lower portion of the prototype, and it crumbled under the weight of the heavy methane tanks. The next prototype, Serial Number 4, passed cryogenic pressure testing on 26 April 2020. But it was destroyed on 29 May 2020 after a successful static fire test of its single Raptor engine due to a failure with the ground support equipments. Currently, Serial Number 5 and Serial Number 6 are undergoing construction. The future of Starship tests include a 20 km test flight of Starship Serial Number 5 and the first orbital test flight before the end of 2020. Musk declared in June 2020 that the Starship is the top SpaceX priority. So, let's wait and see what SpaceX and Elon Musk can do in future to make human a multiplanetary species. I have deliberately skipped the technical details of Starship in this video because it requires making an entire dedicated video on that topic. So, don't forget to subscribe the channel to learn the engineering aspects of Starship from our future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.